IVM.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money, for supporting the network. Guys, you should definitely check out some of the content that we're doing recently, which is somewhat COVID related. Pavan's been doing an awesome job on the Pragati podcast. All Thing Policy has also got a tremendous number of really great episodes about what's going on and the impact. We talk about this stuff on Cyrus Says, especially in the Cock and Bull episodes. On Advertising Instead, Varun's had a couple of episodes where he's spoken about the impact of this, as is Karthik on the Filter Coffee podcast. And across the network, definitely do check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. And with that, let's get you to your show.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach Podcast, the bite-sized podcast filled with quick and easy, actionable habits. Remember, great habits create that awesome life. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. Today's fun fact of the day has to do with languages. Did you know that there is no known record for what is the oldest languages or where they were created? Some scientists believe that languages were first used around 102,000 years ago. And over these thousands of years, languages have come and gone. We have about 7,000 languages that are used around the world currently. However, every now and then, a language becomes extinct. People stop talking it, stop writing in it, and eventually it just disappears. This is one of the saddest things according to me. A way of life for millions of people over the years, and something that they used to use every single day just disappears because nobody can understand it anymore. After all, languages are all about communication. Both sides need to understand what is being spoken about for it is to be used. If just one person is speaking and not being understood, the language is useless. In a similar way, our body is also constantly trying to talk to us, communicate with us. Are we listening and understanding what is being said? The language used is that of emotions. One of the biggest issues that we face in today's generation is that we are hyper aware of our emotions. We have begun to open up and talk about emotions. We talk about happiness, sadness, joy, fear, anger, rage, jealousy, hopelessness, grief, and the list goes on and on. In stark comparison, the previous generation never spoke about their emotions or expressed their emotions. Emotions were seen as little annoyances, useless things that cause problems. It's like someone is trying to talk to you, but you have to put your fingers in your ears because you don't want to hear what they're saying, trying desperately not to hear and ignore them. Today, we've improved and have taken our fingers out of our ears. However, we have no clue about what is being said. We hear a language, but we miss the message. As your habit coach, I want you to explore and learn a new language. A language of your emotions. This is so important because if we do not understand what the emotions are trying to communicate, we become a slave to the emotion. We react to the emotion and become emotional. Guided by emotion and not the cognitive thinking part of our mind, which is the part of our mind that separates us from the animals. A question I keep getting asked is, how do I control my emotions? And the answer to this is simple. Don't control them. Try and understand them instead. For example, sadness might be telling me that I need to let go and change something. Joy could be telling me that I'm on the right track. Good job, go on. Stress could be telling me that I need to take things slowly and ease up. Overwhelmed could be telling me that priorities are not right and I'm doing too much. Resentment might be telling me to forgive. Emptiness could be telling me that it's time to do something creative. You see, we get so stuck in each emotion that we don't realize that it's time to tell us something. Like hearing a language and judging if it's good or bad with no idea what is being said. Hence, all you have to do is learn the meaning behind the words and the language so that you can communicate with yourself. So your simple habit to learning the language of emotions starts by asking yourself, what is this emotion trying to communicate to me? Is it warning me? Is it telling me good job? Is it explaining something about the world around? Is it telling me something about myself? The body shares emotions. The mind has to interpret them and understand them and use them. This is the bridge between the logical mind and the emotional mind. The most important thing is, just because we don't understand this language right now, doesn't mean that it should go extinct. Please learn to understand what is it that your emotions are trying to tell you instead of becoming emotional.
So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome180.
Do you have a night routine? Well, everyone has one. And the to-do list usually looks like this. Brush your teeth, set that alarm, get into your pajamas, and switch off those screens. But here's one more to add to that list. Tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast for a dose of positive action and tips on how to build powerful mindsets. Episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you tune into podcasts.
Hey, this is Shridaditya.
And I'm Amit Doshi.
And we host Shunya One.
It's a really fun podcast where we talk to some of the best entrepreneurs in the country.
Yes, talking about everything from their startup challenges to what they're building and all the future of technologies right here.
So catch us on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you listen to your podcast from.